decision. I'd already had one treatment. I probably could have stopped at that point. And my my oncologist was kind of wishy-washy about the whole thing. So I went and got another opinion. And my second opinion said, do the chemo. Clean up all the cells that could possibly be loose. So I did 3 more treatments of chemotherapy at that point.
So what did you lose your hair at that point? And then what was your family life like at this point? Because you must have been stressed out.
Well, my kids really did well. I kind of kept the truth from them until I was about to have surgery. And what I told them was I had to have a cyst removed. My son was aware very quickly what was going on because he's older. My daughter wasn't aware until I actually knew what stage I was and whether I was going to be doing chemotherapy. I didn't want to give her a half story. Right. I didn't want to say, oh, I've got cancer, without telling her, well, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So once I knew the plan forward, I was able to tell her. And she actually reacted really well to it. I said, well, I'm going to have, they've taken out this thing. I've had the surgery. They've removed it. It's gone out of my body. Now I'm going to have chemotherapy to get rid of anything that's left. Now she, and this is the unfortunate part. She has a friend who, a 10-year-old girl who was undergoing chemotherapy for lymphoma. So she knew exactly what chemotherapy was. So she said to me, Mom, do you have cancer? And I said, I did. It's good. It's gone. The tumor is gone, and we're just taking care of the rest of it. And she went, okay.
Wow.
And I wasn't sick. I didn't have a lot of nausea, I didn't vomit ever.
So were you still working at this point, or you had to take time off?
No, I did. At this point, it was during the middle of the summer. So I have off, because of my job, I have off.
That's good.
About 8 weeks in the summertime. So I was fortunate. I did, however, take the FMLA type leave. I had 12 weeks of that, and I took that in the fall when I was supposed to go back to work. And the reason for that is I wanted to stay healthy. I didn't want to be around germs.
That's true. And how was your husband doing?
Oh my gosh, he was amazing.
All of this.
He drove me to every single thing. I don't think I drove for months on end. He cooked,
you had a chauffeur.
He cleaned. Yeah, he chauffeured me to every single doctor appointment, every single thing I had to do. He cooked, he cleaned, he took the kids to school, he picked the kids up from school. I was able to rest. I was able to get better.
So what did he say to you, though, when all of this was going on? It sounds like you're your ultimate cheerleader.
So he nothing ruffles him. He's very calm about everything. But he is the one that's going to kick me in the butt when I'm being negative.
Okay.
So, when I was being, I'm going to die, and he's like, not today. He's like, we all will eventually.
So he was good to keep around for some humor. Wow.
Yeah.
So did you lose your hair? I mean, to me, that's the scariest thing. One of the scariest things.
I did. How
do you handle that as a woman? Because we're all about our hair, color, cut,
Yeah, for me, it wasn't as big a deal. I found the other day, my prescription for a wig. Uh-huh. It's called a cranial prosthesis for alopecia caused by chemotherapy.
Okay.
And, I looked at that and I went, yeah, I'm glad I didn't get that thing.
Oh, so you didn't even get the wig?
I did not.
Really?
I did not wear a wig the entire time.
So what did you do?
I put a hat on.
Okay. Wow.
I had lots of hats. Okay. And that was my way of dealing with it. Wow. I didn't look as bad bald as I thought I would. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And the hair didn't faze me. I've always been one, if I get a bad haircut, I don't worry about it. It's hair, it grows back. Right. Except that when I started seeing that commercial for the Taxotere and the alopecia lawsuit, I worried about it a little bit then. But, it's not just the hair on your head you lose. You lose your eyelashes. You lose your eyebrows. Everything. You lose all your leg hair. I didn't have to shave for months. That was kind of nice. And there's some really odd things that are helpful. the other thing about being bald is that, you take a shower, you walk out the door in 10 minutes. So,
that was the only positive note then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to put a positive spin on it.
So,
otherwise, you do feel sad.
What did you learn about yourself, going through this? I mean, I think I'd be so scared. Because when I've had the mammograms and I've had a couple invites back, which ended up being nothing, I mean, I'm just a basket case. And I've only had the invite back that ended up being clear. And I look at it sometimes as that it's a money-making thing. Because when I walk in there, my breast's worth $1,000 for 2 x-rays. So, I'm like, ka-ching, breasts here for you to x-ray and charge.
Well, I must be worth a lot then because I have an MRI now every 6 months.
And then if you get the ultrasound, that's another ka-ching.
Yeah, ultrasound, MRI, mammograms, I swear everybody in this town has seen my breasts at this point, because, and what I learned was I don't embarrass easily. Okay. No, I had a kid at school say to me, Mrs. Cosman, or excuse me, why is your hair so weird?
Was it growing in at that point?
And I just told them all. I said, well, this is what happened to me. I don't embarrass easily, and my sense of humor is hugely dark and weird. And it got even weirder with this.
More so now that you've been through this, or was it already?
Oh yes! Oh my goodness!
Okay.
If I wasn't already a veteran with a dark sense of humor,
right.
I would have developed one from this. It just, my sense of humor is so strange. I've said things like, hey, if I pull the breast cancer card, can I get out of professional development day? And if a person sits down 2 chairs away from me, I'll say, hey, I'm not contagious. I've said some crazy stuff. I tell everybody that chemo has taken my filter, if I ever really had one.
Oh, wow. So what's your diagnosis now? You've gone through all of this, and you said you get the invite back for the MRI. How often now do you have to go and get mammograms and things like that?
Well, I have not had a mammogram since that initial one with the ultrasound.
Wow.
Well, because you have so many changes, the surgery is changes, then there's the swelling.
Okay.
I have a condition called lymphedema, which is some swelling in the breast. That caused some problems for me this summer with some cellulitis. So I spent 4 nights in the hospital just because of that this past summer, more than a year after surgery. It's the gift that still gives.
Wow.
There's certain things that keep changing your breast. Radiation causes changes as well. It thickens the skin, it thickens the tissues. So they have to wait. They have to wait till all these things are done before they do a new baseline. So,
okay, so it sort of has to calm. The area has to calm down then.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I had another complication. I had an abscess. I had what was called a seroma or a hematoma, where the site is of the surgery, which is basically just fluid that's encapsulated. It got infected somehow, and they had to drain it. So I had to stuff gauze in that for months on end, and today was the last time I had to see the surgeon. It's now healed up. So they said don't do a baseline until after that's healed up. So it's been quite a while. So they thought probably by April I'll be starting up with mammograms again.
Okay.
But I'll be doing MRIs probably every 6 months for the next year or so.
So do you freak out with the MRI, or you don't? You're just,
I didn't do too bad. I had one in June. I would say it wasn't too bad. I had one in December before that. Both of those I was actually okay for. I think because it's only 6 months, I feel better about it.
Okay.
If you have a clear MRI in December and then you go in June, it's only been 6 months. So unless it's some really hugely fast-growing thing, you're able to say, okay, I probably don't have anything, or if I do, it's probably in early form. You see what I'm saying? Just that short time frame helps me to get through that. We call it scanxiety. Every time you go in and you get a new scan. I've had so many tests now. I've had colonoscopies. I've had melanoma screenings. I've had, what else have I had? I can't even remember all the tests I've had now. Oh, I had a bone scan because of bone pain, just to make sure it had not gone into my bones. Every test is anxiety provoking.
Right.
So you almost get used to the anxiety in a way.
Wow. And you seem to know the terminology. I mean, how did you end up learning that from your doctor, or did you have to research it? It just seems like you have to know so many different things going through something like this.
And that's one of the hardest things. The doctors know their terminology. And when you go in there, it's almost like they expect you to understand what they're talking about. My biggest hang-up and the biggest thing that I worry about when I first started seeing the oncologist was what stage I was.
Right.
I was positive I was going to be stage 4. And, of course, they can't tell you that your stage until after the surgery. Okay, so I ended up being stage 2B. Stage 2 was because of the size of the tumor, the 2.5 centimeters, and B meaning it was in the nodes. A would have been the nodes were clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, but that was a huge release there. But I don't think the doctors, and I've, read a lot of this online too in the support groups, I don't think the doctors do a really good job of explaining the terminology to you. What helped me was my sister. My sister loves to Google everything medical. If you asked her what's in a certain kind of cough syrup or, any kind of medication, she could tell you the ingredients.
So she was your support system then in helping you define and understand all of this nightmare.
Yes, exactly. And she was able to, because she also had a friend who was diagnosed before me with stage 4 triple negative. She had done a lot of reading about it and helping her friend. So when it happened to me, she had already done all this research. So she was able to explain a lot of things to me, and then I was able to find more, to look at myself. And because I had a little bit of knowledge, I didn't always go down the rabbit hole of looking at the really scary things.
Right. And she could help filter that too. Now, I am a person who has not had breast cancer, but I've had the little invites back for the extra $1,000 fun x-rays. But I detest October and the pink ribbon. I find it stressful. I see those pink ribbons and I'm thinking about breast cancer and my little invites that I've had back. So you someone that's actually had breast cancer, what does the pink ribbon mean to you? I can't stand it. So tell me your thoughts on the pink ribbon.
Awareness is important, obviously. But I think we're all pretty darn aware. And I can tell you I'm pretty aware. I'll never need to be made aware of breast cancer ever again, obviously. And I think most women do feel anxious over that, or are very aware. But I don't like the pink ribbons. I don't mind if the T-shirts that or have a pink ribbon on them, or the hats, or
save the tatas.
Things like that. I'm sorry?
Save the tatas.
Oh, God. Well, yeah. The tatas, the tatas tried to kill me. They can go. I don't need them that bad. But the ribbons, it depends on what the product is, and it depends on what they're giving back to actually do something with. For example, I've been posting pictures on Facebook. The one that really got me was the pink fracking drill bit. Because nothing says, support breast cancer like a pink fracking drill bit. It's just, what are they giving? Are they giving proceeds? Or are they just using that to, to say, hey, we're aware?
Right.
And I said this earlier to you. I said, it's like taking a knee. Okay, you're taking a knee. We're aware of your cause now. Well, what are you actually doing about it?
Well, I mean, there's 260 nonprofits that raise money for breast cancer. I was amazed at that number. And every year they bring in about $2.2 billion. And I think we spend about $160 billion on research a year. That's my thing. Is there enough research going on?
Well, I think if you ask anybody who has stage 4 cancer, the average lifespan, I believe, of someone with stage 4 is about 3 years. I would say there's probably never going to be enough.
Yeah.
You have to look at all of those nonprofits, too, and see what their percentage that they give to research, because they don't all give equal amounts. I know Medivivor is one that gives 100% of their the money they raise to research. So, they're all different.